Welcome to the Celebration of You. I'm your host, Holly Dowling. I'm thrilled to share with you incredible people from all over the world who are living and leading extraordinary lives. From overcoming immense adversity to discovering the secret sauce to leading with courage and grace. Their stories are going to bring you hope and inspiration. Now, let the stories begin. It's going to be a fun one today. And I know, don't you love the way I just said that, Gloria? You're like,
yes, oh dear.
I know, oh dear, what does that one mean? And the best part about this, so I can't wait to introduce you to this incredible, brilliant woman who I have just recently we've become friends. We met at an event last fall, and well, that's another whole story we can't wait to share. But to get to know the person you're about to hear, you're going to be riveted when you realize how somebody takes their life and creates a global impact. So Gloria, thank you. May I introduce you to the world? Gloria Feldt, thank you for being with me today.
Holly, I am thrilled to be with you today.
Well, if we tell everybody, really, our bonding moment at a big event, right, in Santa Barbara, they would die. But we'll tell them that later.
Oh, I knew you'd do that. It's too good not to share.
Well, it is too good not to share. And but we met at an amazing event, and we were both receiving a wonderful award. And with that said, you meet somebody and you go, whoa. So I had the privilege of getting to see you share your passion and your movement right now that's having a global impact. So let me just start with, I got to tell everybody, it's nothing like meeting somebody and then reading about them. And Gloria, like Vanity Fair has written up about you, that you're the top 200 women legends, leaders, and trailblazers. Love that. People Magazine, you're the voice of experience. You have written a book. You've done so many things. But before we go down history, tell us about your movement right now that is going crazy called Take the Lead.
Well, thank you, Holly. I'm thrilled to tell you about Take the Lead because it is my passion of the heart and my legacy, really, I feel at this point in my life, because I've had the privilege of doing so many things that have, in one way or another, helped to advance women. And I found a few years ago that women had been stalled at under 20% of the top leadership positions for almost 20 years. And I have to tell you, I was absolutely shocked to learn this, because at this point we've seen a woman first almost everything, and so many women are in the workplace. We're half the workplace now, and so it's difficult to even realize that when it comes to a level of parity in the upper leadership positions, we are so far from being there. Mm-hmm. So I started looking into why. And the culmination of it was, just to very fast forward, the culmination of it was after I had done the study and after I had written the book and after people had started asking me to teach workshops using the material that I had written in the book, I realized that one person can do a lot, but you need a movement and an organization behind you if you want to really make some substantial changes in the world. And so hence, Take the Lead was formed, and our mission is to prepare, develop, inspire, and propel women to take their fair and equal share of leadership positions across every sector by 2025. Now, that's about 60 years faster than we're going in the U.S. Of course, if you look at the global numbers, it might be a little tougher to get there by 2025 because some people think it will be 150 years globally before women reach parity. But we have to start somewhere, and we can sort of keep our eye on the numbers more easily in the U.S., although since we've started, we've had people from all over the world participating in Take the Lead programs. So our prepare part of our mission is training. And we do online and in person. We do blended. We do short, long, any way you want it, because what we have is really a breakthrough curriculum that enables women to break through that place where they may have been stuck, even if they knew it or if they didn't know it, that has kept them from advancing and using all of their amazing skills and talents and the power that they actually have in their hands. So there's the training. Then there is mentoring, and that's the develop part of our mission. So the mentoring component is a platform that we have called Glass Breakers Take the Lead. We collaborate with an organization called Glass Breakers that was started by two amazing young women, and it's a digital platform. So you really can do whatever you want to do. You are matched algorithmically. You tag yourself with the different things that you're interested in or your characteristics that you want people to know about, and then it will match you with like people. You can be a mentor, you can get a mentor, you can be both of those to somebody. Once you get matched, it's really up to you to decide, do I want to just send a couple of emails to this person? Do I want to have coffee with them? Do I want to make them part of a bigger networking group? You decide how you want to pursue it or not. So then there is the inspire part of our mission, and that's role model events. So that would be sometimes in-person live events, like our launch event that we had in 2014. We had a big public launch, and it was huge, gigantic. 500,000 people globally participated in it, and we had some big names like Sheryl Sandberg and Carla Harris speaking. And then subsequently, we've done other smaller events, and it's designed to help women see what they can be, to show them not only how other women have done it in their careers, but also to sometimes just to give people ideas of careers that they might not have ever thought about. And we do a virtual happy hour that's free. Anybody can participate in it on our website also, like our mentoring platform. It's also free. And I interview someone just as you're interviewing me right now. So maybe you're next on my virtual happy hour.
There we go, girlfriend.
That's how we go. That's how we roll.
I love it.
And I interview someone, and then we have the content then that is put on our website. So there's a growing body of video content that people can see and learn. And we actually, people can ask questions live, and then we package it up and put it on our website afterwards, so you can see it afterwards as well. So then the final part of the mission is propel. And to propel, we feel that it's important in our thought leadership, which is the fourth component, to shift the narrative in our heads as women and in the heads of society at large from the problem focus, like how many times can you read how big the pay gap is, to the solution focus, which is, well, let's talk about all the things we can do to get rid of the pay gap. So it's just a different mindset, a different way of thinking about it that we think will take us forward in this century to true parity in gender parity in leadership across any sector, every sector.
Oh, I am just, you know what? I think I just got more from listening to you around the granular, differential between each one of these pieces, because I did not realize, and I think I would like to go back and just hit on something, because I love that you're offering the mentoring, Gloria. So tell us a little bit about who would be a prospective who's their target audience? I mean, is it a stay-at-home mom that wants to look to getting back into the workforce, or they're losing their identity? I've been one of those where you're like, I don't know, I know I have something more to offer and I don't even know where to start. Give me an idea. Give us some color around who would be a target audience for the mentoring.
For the mentoring platform, it really is completely across the board. So, for example, there are tags that are like new mom or breast cancer survivor or runner, in addition to leadership and physician or medical care or healthcare or lawyer or profession related tags. So we have many different tags, and you literally tag yourself. You define yourself. And that helps the algorithms find other people who might either share the issues that you want to talk about or where you're seeking help. So you can tag yourself in a way that enables you to find the people who may be able to offer you advice, or in many instances, you may be able to offer them advice. And sometimes it's a two-way street, which to me, that's the best way.
Oh, I love that. Absolutely. Oh, I just think that's brilliant. And I don't know of anything out there, right? Like, you and I are very involved in a lot of global movements, especially for women initiatives. And this is the first that I've heard of something that has been that streamlined to be across the board in serving so many different women, right? No matter where you are right now.
No matter where you are, right, anywhere in the world. It's sort of like speed dating for mentorship in a way. And so again, you may choose to develop a relationship with somebody you've been matched with, or you may decide, well, that person really isn't in the wheelhouse that I was interested in. But you'll find somebody. I've been using it myself so that I can understand it and test it out. And I would say that I've been matched with about 10 people, of whom probably 4 I have had ongoing conversations with for quite some time. And in fact, one of them is creating an app for my book.
Oh, seriously. Look at what came out of that.
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
I love it.
You never know.
Well, I think I'm missing the boat right now. I think I definitely need to get, and I know we'll talk more because I want to get involved with that. I also think brilliant move was when you talked about Propel, because it's interesting. You just gave me an aha and an epiphany in the sense that there's so much data. I mean, we're seeing articles left and right, all these big studies coming out from not just US, but globally around here's the reality of where the gap is. And women are still not getting the C-suite levels, or here's where we've made a difference and we're not. But to your point, there's all this data telling us that the problem exists, but who's focusing on the solution? And in the last couple of years, that's been a big push where I've been spending my time. So I love that you guys are talking about let's create the solution versus just focusing on the problem. Again, I think that's powerful. What kind of success stories, Gloria, do you have? I mean, it doesn't have to be just from Propel, but across the entire Take the Lead. What would be a success story? And this has only been around, right? You launched in 2014. Is that correct?
Right. That's correct. Yes, we incorporated in 2013, but we really launched publicly with our programs in 2014. So we've moved fast. We've grown fast. And of course, I have contributed a lifetime body of work, so it's not as though it just sprang full blown all of a sudden in 2014. I've been doing this for a very long time, but it's in the form that Take the Lead is right now as an organization. Yes, we just celebrated our 3rd birthday, so. Success stories there are so many. My favorite ones are when I get a phone call or an email a year later. Actually, one of them came 3 years later after the first online certificate course that I taught. It was the very first one after we had our public launch. And it was from a woman who scarcely spoke up at all. It was an online course, so it's easy for people not to be very vocal. But she scarcely spoke up at all, but she has been following us, I noticed, on social media ever since then, and often commenting or liking or otherwise reacting to things. Well, all of a sudden, I get an email from her saying, after I took your course, I realized I was ready to raise my hand and say I wanted a higher level position. And so I offered myself up. She was a law professor. She said, I offered myself up to be the head of our department, and I was chosen. And do you know what just happened? There was an opening for a deanship, and I would have never thought that I could be qualified for a deanship, but I decided, well, I'll just put myself forward. And you know what? I've just been named dean.
Oh, seriously.
So those are the things that keep me going. Those are the things that keep me energized and just so happy, and realizing that what we do makes such a difference in people's lives. And it's funny because people often ask me, well, is this about politics? And I always say, no. I started this journey because I found that women weren't running for office, and I was trying to figure out why. We were complaining that we were only, at that time, I think 17% of Congress. But, if you don't run, you can't win. So I was like, well, why aren't women running? Women are half as likely as men to ever think about running. And I don't focus on politics at all in these courses. And yet almost every single time, one woman at least will declare at the end of the program that she has decided to run for office. And so we see that happening, and that's a great thing. And it's it's all across the board politically. It's the whole spectrum of politics. But one woman ran for city council, one woman ran for mayor. One is positioning herself to run for Congress. It's just it's that to me is very wonderful. And then the third example I'll give you is a woman who called me almost exactly a year afterward. She actually lives in New York, and we had met once very briefly before she took a workshop, but hadn't seen her since then. And she called me up and she said, I just wanted to tell you that when I took the workshop, in my plan, everyone makes a strategic leadership action plan for themselves as a part of the course or workshop. And she said, I wrote down for myself that I wanted to become a vice president in my firm. And I chose power tool number 3, which is use what you've got. Because instead of fretting about what I didn't have, I decided to use some of the characteristics that I did have that I could use in a positive way for myself. And she said, I was just informed today that I was going to be promoted to vice president, and I just wanted to let you know. So again, I mean, these stories happen constantly, just constantly. So that's what keeps me going.
Of course it does. And I'm sitting here just with the biggest smile because I'm imagining, when you went after a passion and you decided, and we got to take you, let's go back, and I want everybody to hear where you've spent 30 years. And by the way, you're not just like a woman that chose not to have a family. You have like the Brady Bunch.
Kind of, yeah.
I mean, this story gets even bigger and better. So don't ever say you can't do it all, or at least you can't juggle family and passion. But, Gloria, I love hearing those success stories. And I love that this byproduct, right, of women running for office was not the intention of this. And yet, when you're doing something that's of service with the right intention, you just never know the impact you're going to have. God, I love that. Well,
absolutely.
So tell us, okay, so 30 years, my friend, you have spent in the corporate world. And tell us where you've been. And you ended up being CEO and president for quite some time.
Yes. I actually have never done anything truly useful in my life. I've always been a CEO. And
oh, wait, that's a great line. You need to tweet that.
Yeah, because your job is kind of like you don't really know how to do anything, but you have to make sure everything happens. So that's been the story of my life. I started as a CEO of a small Planned Parenthood affiliate in West Texas in 1974, and I had the opportunity to grow that into a nice middle-sized affiliate. And then I was recruited to go to Arizona, where I became the CEO of the affiliate, and I stayed there for 18 years. And I would say that was a great job. I loved that. It was a great opportunity to grow in a growing community, and to really turn a middle-sized affiliate that was underperforming into one of the largest in the country. And if I do say so myself, one of the best. It was terrific. And then as I was ready to I didn't want to retire. I mean, I wasn't really nearly old enough to retire, but I was getting a little bored, and I thought I would take a couple of years to do some writing and consulting and figure out what I wanted to do with the rest of my life when I was recruited to take the national presidency of Planned Parenthood. So Planned Parenthood Federation of America, the national organization, and I did that for 9 years. So in all, it was a 30-year career. And I was kind of smiling when you said in corporate, because these were nonprofit corporations, but the culture is quite different from when you think about corporate. And the challenge of the national presidency is that you're expected to lead everyone, but you're kind of not in charge of anyone.
What an oxymoron, right?
I mean, you have the national organization team, the staff. That's, you've got your own staff. That's to be sure. But the local affiliates are all separately incorporated. And so while there's certainly mutual commitment to mission, you really are not that in charge of anybody else. You truly have to learn what leadership is about, because it's the authority level is really kind of not there. So it was a great experience. It was a wonderful, it was a wonderful career. And I do feel that it gave me a chance to participate in advancing a mission that I so totally believed in. But 30 years is a good round number, and it's always time to move on at some point. And I had been wanting to be a writer since I was 5 years old. Before life intervened. Yes, I carried my little notebook around with me, and I wrote little stories. I was fairly literate very early in life, and I would write little stories and the poems, and that was what I was going to be. But then, teenage years hit, and like most girls in their teenage years, when the hormones kick in, you kind of want to please the boys, right?
Yep.
And to be a writer, oh my goodness, who'd ever heard of that? So I learned to bake brownies and all that stuff. And I married my high school sweetheart. I had 3 kids by the time I was 20. And then I woke up. And the other part of this story that is very symmetrical is that aside from having been a very young teen mom and knowing the difficulty of that, the birth control pill arrived after I had my 3rd child. And it was one of those aha moments. Oh my goodness, I can actually plan the rest of my life out now. I can decide proactively when I want to have children. And it was really, I would say the birth control pill probably was one of the biggest game changers ever in human history. Because up until that time, while there had been birth control, actually, since before people knew what caused pregnancy, there was, there hadn't been a really reliable method. And so all of a sudden, it meant that women could reliably get an education, enter the workforce, and have a life. So there we are. That was what was so symmetrical about the whole thing, and why that was a great career. But for me, it was always about advancing women, and so that happened to be what in a sense was opportunities that came to me, and then after that, I needed to pursue some opportunities that didn't necessarily come to me. It was up to me to go find them. And I kind of like doing that. It's been a whole different phase of life. And I really believe that while I had many opportunities to work from the lowliest grassroots to the highest halls of power, what I'm doing now, I believe back on the bigger women's rights and parity and equality platform is probably the most needed thing in our entire society. So I'm just feeling very happy and inspired by what I'm getting to do right now.
And I have to say, because I just learned that, right? So you were a mother of 3 by the time you were 20.
That is correct.
That means you were a teen mom. And you were accepting that responsibility, and were so many people, Gloria, and so many women, and boys too, men, but that was transformative for you because so many people give up, right? They think that their life is over now, that they don't have an opportunity to look at what you could do next. And to me, it was pivotal for you that you embraced being a mother, but then you didn't just throw your hands up and say, well, that's all I've got then.
It's right. And I will be honest with you, Holly. Sometimes I get very tired of telling that story.
I bet. You've told it a lot.
I get really tired of telling that story. But what I have learned is that it's highly important and very helpful for many people to hear it. Because everybody always looks at other people and thinks, oh, but they had all of these opportunities. They had all of these advantages, right?
Yep.
She probably went to Harvard. She probably had a big scholarship to some fancy school. She probably had parents who paid for blah, 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 or whatever. It's really important for, I think, many people to know that it doesn't matter where you're starting from. The thing is, you just need to start.
And you just nailed it. As my young son once said to me, Mom, every day starts with a clean sheet of white paper.
Ooh,
don't you love that? I know. And he
fabulous.
was young and I was like, that was so profound, but it's, Gloria, and I totally am with you because people see, and I mean, I'm still at this point in my life, haven't really been able to, a lot of people don't know my real story and all the stuff that I've been through. And it's never been, I've always said, I choose to not live in woe is me. It's wow is me, but that's what's made me who I am today. And I wouldn't change it for the world. I don't have regrets, right? I've chosen to take all of that stuff and turn it into something that's going to fuel not just me, but what you're doing, Gloria. There's a reason you're making such an impact globally. Because to what you just said, people need to know that because then it makes them go, it's my old saying, but it gives them hope. You give people hope, Gloria. And you're giving not just women here in this country, but women around the world who don't even have, let's face it, they don't even have access to some of what we all have access to, which is even a simple public education, right?
Right.
And or the birth control pill. Like there's things that people are being impacted by, but because you're being real. And I just want to thank you because I know you're probably like, oh, but I didn't know that story. And I'm just so grateful because there are so many people. And I'm going to tell you, I know we both feel this way because we had our conversation, but what I'm loving right now is that we are seeing men stepping up to be the champions and the ambassadors. And it's because they're realizing we need more women in these leadership roles. We need women feeling they can fight for themselves. And we have men that are fathers of daughters that are saying, I want it different for them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We also have a generation of men who are raised by women like us.
Yep.
And that helps. That helps too. But I do think that young men today, bless their hearts, they want to be actively involved in their children's lives, for example. They expect that they almost always expect that their partners will be at least co-earners at some point. And that therefore the responsibility for bringing home income into the house is shared to some extent. Mm-hmm. And well, we know they still don't clean the house quite as much as women do. but the fact that younger men are so much more likely to want to be at their kids' soccer game, they know how to change a diaper. They know how to, they just, they don't shy away from those things. Like my father he would coochie-coo the baby, but he never changed a diaper as far as I ever saw. Yes. And I think there's a whole different kind of man out there. And I think we need to be very, very happy about that.
Totally. And I'm loving it. And I know for both of us, having been single mothers for a period of time in our lives, and especially like you said, and we're raising the boys, I just don't think that people realize the impact that we can have, not just on our own children, but on all of those young, innocent people that don't have mentors or parents in their life who are doing much. And that's why I think I got so excited about your mentoring pillar. I call them pillars. Look at me. I already called all your things pillars.
That's good. I like that.
Here we go. But I'm like, here we go. But I think that just having the ability, right, and the access and knowing that somebody like you and you've created this so that young women, older women, anybody, it's never too late to restart your life. Like, I feel like sometimes we get to a place where people give up, right? Men and women, they think, oh, it's too late now, give up on my dreams. But no, it isn't. But sometimes you need to be catapulted. Like you said, part of the mentoring is just being exposed to other people or inspire, just hearing stories from stage and knowing that, oh my gosh, that's that person just gave me hope. I can go do it. So I just get excited. I love what you're doing. I couldn't wait to showcase this. And now we have to tell everybody. So two things. We got to tell them because I leave them hanging.
I knew it. I was thinking maybe she's going to forget about this. Okay, good. That'd be good.
No. Because it just makes it. And I have to tell everybody that Gloria lives part of her life in New York and part of her life in Arizona. So I told her, now that my husband and I just moved to Arizona a few years ago. I'm like, wow, we are so close. And yet we never get to see each other. But we were in Santa Barbara and we had just met. And this is when you've bonded with your new best friend you're about to have for the rest of your life. Because we were staying in this, well, shall we say, darling little beach bed and breakfast or something there.
Slightly rustic, I would say.
Slightly rustic. I like that word. A little bit of the antique touch. And it was lovely. And all of a sudden we get to our rooms and, unbeknownst to us, we barely even know each other. And we're like, what do you got in your room? Do you got a blow dryer? Nope. Do you? Yeah, I got that. Do you got an iron? Nope. Do you got one? Yeah, I got one. It's like, what room are you in? Can we collaborate? Let's bring all of our utensils to one room and let's share. We just did brushes, blow dryers. And we were like, before we knew it, we were getting ready in the same room and sharing. But I think that's what makes amazing connections in our world is let the guard down and be ready for what happens in your life.
Very definitely so. Very definitely so. And Holly, you were so incredibly gracious, having just barely met me, and I'm freaking out that I have no hairdryer in my room, and there's nobody at the front desk to ask if I can come get a hairdryer. And I'm freaking out because we have to be on stage speaking fairly soon, and not like the world would come to an end if I didn't have my hair curled. But hey, you know how that goes. And so Holly was the one phone number that I had, so I called her. And of course, she said immediately, well, yes, come on over. I'm in room such and such. And so she was, I don't know if she snapped any pictures, but she was sure threatening to of me on my knees using her hairdryer.
But you know what? We laughed about it the whole way. And we had a poor driver waiting outside the hotel to take us. And we're like, hang on a second. I was screaming it from the window ledge. We'll be down in a minute. And yet, you see, again, it's like I just shared this, Gloria, I think we all have to be lesson learned, but it's being open to the serendipitous moments that can happen in our life. And you never know who's going to come into your life. And I'm so grateful for that weekend for someone like you and that your story and what you're doing. And I just have to end with one thing. And I would love, you had no idea I'm going to ask you this, but if you could give, I'm going to say your 21 or 25-year-old self, what you know now, what advice would you give your younger self, say 21 or 25 years old?
I'm fairly clear about that, and it's been a long time coming to me. But Holly, what I would tell my 21-year-old self is keep on saying yes to whatever's out there, but be intentional. Think intentionally about what you want to have accomplished at different stages of your life, or even during that day. Take a little time every day to think about what's the most important thing you're going to do that day. And I truly went through most of my life doing what needed to be done, like most women do, right? Mm-hmm. You just do what needs to be done. What people need from you, what people are asking of you. In my case, I was very fortunate. There were many opportunities that came my way, and I said yes to them, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. But I do wish that someone had said to me, look, you've only got one life, and you need to be the one who really thinks about, at the end of it, when you're looking back, what is it you want to have accomplished? And then to translate that to daily life. What is it that I really want to do today? And what is the emotion? What is the affect with which I want to do it? Is it that I want to be sure that I've solidified a relationship with Holly? Is it that, what's the important thing for me to do today that I'm going to be really glad I did when I look back at it? So be more intentional. That would be my advice.
Oh, I love that word. It's one of my buzzwords for the 2017. So the fact that you just said that, Gloria, and what was beautiful, and what a beautiful way to tie this up with a bow, because the person I've grown to know you to be, even being with you at that amazing event in December back here in Scottsdale, you are very intentional about how you are moving forward. And I believe that has a lot to do with why people are magnetized to you and gravitating to your purpose. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Holly.
Oh, you're welcome. What a gift. Oh, what a gift it was. And I can't wait. I know we're going to find a time to be able to, we'll find coffee time before we exit Arizona. But would you do me a favor? I
Certainly.
would love people that are going to listen to this. How can they learn more about you, take the lead? If they have any questions, where would you guide them?
First, I would invite them to see our website, taketheleadwomen.com, taketheleadwomen.com. And second, follow us on social. Let's connect on social media. On Twitter, Take the Lead is at Take Lead Women. I am at Gloria Feldt. It's easier for people to remember where to find me because I always say if I gave myself any different handle than my actual name, I would forget what it was. So you can find me as Gloria Feldt on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and I've just gone on Instagram, but I haven't learned how to post yet. So that's my next task is to learn how to post. I'm like, oh, these people are following me, but I haven't posted anything. Why are they doing that? I am a social media fiend, however. So I'll get there. I'll learn that. And for Take the Lead, similarly, we're very active on all of those 4 social media platforms. And we also have a YouTube channel where, again, you can find many resources that may be helpful to you as well as on our website. So we really want to be there to help any and all women and men too, who are interested in making sure that both men and women have basically the opportunity to give their talents and to thrive in an equal fashion in this world. So we welcome one and all.
Thank you. Thank you. And I know people will be seeking out, and I can't wait to reconnect with you soon, my friend. Thank you for sharing your time and your brilliance.
Thank you, Holly, for all of yours. And I've been extremely delighted to get to know some of your work and look forward to learning even more about it as time goes on.
Oh, we're stuck together. Remember,
we are.
That's
we are.
Right. Okay.
One hair dryer, 2 women. That's
exactly,
it.
Dear. That's all that we need to know.
Okay.
All right.
Holly,
thank you. Thank you for joining me for another awesome celebration of you. If you were inspired by this story, please share it with your family and friends and hashtag Your Story Matters. I'd love to hear from you, so please leave a comment on iTunes. And absolutely, please come to my website, hollydowling.com. Leave a comment there too, and while you're there, pick up your free gift. Most importantly, though, just remember that your life is a gift from God. What you do with it is your gift back.